time. Forget all I said about Makovic about 3 seconds ago, about Makovic having stabilised that gap. He's just lost 2.5 seconds in the previous time around, and has lost a further 4/10 in the first sector of this lap. So that gap is now 4 seconds with those 12 minutes left in this race. And second place in GTE Pro up for grabs.
Oh, the leader once again. What is it about that orange, bright orange?
Magnetic. It's magnetic.
Ferrari that Andre Lotterer has a mental block about. That's twice he ran into it last time, just barely touched it. That time he nearly nailed it coming down through to the bottom of the hill at Fane, and that would have been a huge accident.
Enzo Bortolacci must be getting a bit of a kind of complex about late race nerfings.
Absolutely. Absolutely. That was quite amazing. Jim Cameron at Tank Slider, hello mate, good to know that you tuned in from the Mission Motorsport, at Mission Motorsport guys. I should mention that we've got some of the Mission Motorsport guys working on a full-time basis now for Aston Martin in the WEC. Joker Splash and Dash from the lead in P2. Coming in now, I'll finish that thought in a moment. Nick Taylor.
They're in, the fuel has gone on, and it shouldn't be more than 5 or 6 seconds. Stop the ages you have to.
I think that's too long. He's got 10 minutes left.
About 8-9 seconds, I reckon.
Oh, problems refiring.
And Peacock's gone.
Oh, that's a disaster. That's taken a good extra 5 seconds to fire. Now, he was always going to be behind the Peacock. The question is about the 24 Oak, though, guys.
24 has gone through, and second place has gone as well for Jota.
Oh, that was all the car not refiring. The fuel was done.
Well, and that's potentially ruined. It would have been 2 from 2 here. They won the WEC race last year here, of course, as the LMS guest entries, and it would have been 2 races on the trot for Jota, having won the LMS, the rain-shortened ALMS race at Silverstone last time out. So, bitter goal there for the guys from Kent.
Just to finish the thoughts, race, retrain, recover, Mission Motorsport, lofty ideals for soldiers coming back, having fought on our behalf all over the world, and coming back in less than the pristine condition that we sent them out, finding gainful employment and motivation as much as anything else with Aston Martin. And I think Aston Martin should be absolutely applauded, Aston Martin Racing, for taking those guys on merit, as has to be said.
And they're not the only ones, because Base Performance, which is the company that Darren Turner owns, which is a performance simulator company, were persuaded to actually take one of Jim Cameron's trainees on a kind of work experience basis. He's now a full-time employee as I believe, the global sales manager. And
I think Chevron Cars as well. We're doing the same thing with Donington recently. Mike running Chevron there. I haven't seen Mike for ages. Mike pick up.
Absolutely. PK Sport from Team for the Ages.
Well, he's at Chevron nowadays.
LMS.
So, we are down to the last 9 minutes, and we will be thinking now some 48 days hence to the Circuit de la Sarthe, and the next time we see these cars will be for the biggest race in the world, and that is of course the 24 Hours of Le Mans, made even more important this year as it is the 90th anniversary of the original running of the race back in 1923, when at that time, of course, it was run. You think that qualifying's complicated now. The original years of the 24-hour race was actually aggregated over 2 years, so you didn't get a winner at the end of the first 24 hours. You had to come back again in 1924 and race again to find out who had won the average.
And that was without the internet.
That was without numbers. Numbers weren't invented then. But there was someone akin to Paul Truswell who was pushing little stones around, telling everybody whose average was best.
One of the things I liked, it wasn't in the very early stages, but during the 30s, was the way they used to score the race in those days, was each team had, if you like, a big flip chart over the top of the pit, and every time the car came through and completed a lap, you tore a page off this flip chart. and on the flip chart was written 1, 2, 3, and so the spectator could look at the pits and see how many laps had been completed by each car.
That's genius.
But how easy. All you had to do was just tear off a page of your flip chart, show the next number, and you knew how many laps had been completed by each car.
Are you listening, Gerard? That's what I'd say. What we need is 35 flip charts.
You just need number boards.
Fantastic.
Illuminated number boards, Nick.
Is that where the phrase going for a tear-up came from?
Going for a tear. Very good.
Could be.
7 minutes left to go.
And 5 seconds is the gap between second and third in P2, John.
By a goodly margin on your votes are to at Specutainment. Eduardo Freitas is going to get the Spirit of the Event award this weekend. So congratulations to Eduardo. Not sure if he's listening at the moment, but I know that he would say, as any of us would who work in amongst other people, that it was a team effort, that he will accept it on behalf of his team.
And I think that's right, because one of the things that strikes me about his approach is that it is a very, how can I put it, marshal-centric approach. He's not a man in a suit.
No.
He's not a man who's come into motor racing from some other sport and said, right, I will show you how to direct the motor race, because it's just like directing a theme park. He is coming in as or at least with a marshal's approach to racing, which is all about enthusiasm, all about doing the right thing.
And safety.
Yeah.
And also he wants to see as much good racing as possible.
Absolutely.
You know, I've just done an interview actually for Michelin Online, and we were